Welcome to Money Muscle Mindset, the podcast designed to motivate and educate you on your journey to financial and fitness success and to develop the mentality needed to achieve your goals. I'm Zay Molina, guys, and in this episode, we're going to talk about something that really kind of holds us back from achieving our goals, right? We're all guilty of it. It's something that we all do, and essentially it's kind of slowing our progress to achieve those goals, guys. And what that is simply procrastination. Right? We all tend to procrastinate because there's things that we just simply don't want to do right now. We understand that it's beneficial for us. It's beneficial for our success. It's beneficial for our goals, right? But we understand that it's not fulfilling in the moment, right? It's not bringing immediate gratification. So we tend to push things off till tomorrow, right? And so our goal, guys, is to avoid that procrastination. How can we start, doing the things that we need to do, have that discipline, have that consistency to achieve, to start doing those tasks to achieve our goals, right? So in this episode, guys, we're going to talk about 3 tips that I like to recommend to really help avoid procrastination to help you achieve your goals. So let's dive into that now. And let's talk about tip number 1, guys. Let's break our big goals into small, manageable steps, right? So what do I mean by that? Well, sometimes, guys, when we have these big goals, right, we have our big dreams of launching a business, maybe hitting an income goal, or maybe losing weight at the gym, whatever it may be, guys. We look at these big numbers and these big, goals, and they seem so overwhelming where we're looking at this and it's like, hey, I've never even come close to that in my life. And it just seems so big where, it doesn't seem like a goal. It seems like a dream, right? We're not committed to it. It's not something that we're dedicated to right now that we feel that it's achievable, right? And so it's easy to, when that happens, right? When we have that dream, right? It's easy to, push that off and say, I'll start tomorrow, right? I'll start next week, right? I want to lose weight. I'll start next month, right? Whatever it may be. And that's kind of the idea, is because we look at this goal and it seems unachievable and it seems so just far out there that it's easy to just say, I'm going to push it till tomorrow, right? And our goal is to avoid that. So we want to break down those big goals into more manageable steps. So let's say, for example, let's say you want to lose weight. Maybe you want to lose 30 pounds, okay? You're like, hey, I want to lose 30 pounds in the next 6 months. Again, that 30 pounds may be big. You've never even lost, let's say, 10 pounds in your life, right? And you're saying, hey, I want to finally go for it. I want to lose 30 pounds, okay? If you look at that number and it's like, hey, that's kind of big right now. That's kind of, overwhelming to where, hey, I have never even come close to that. How am I going to do it? Guys, break that down. If you want to lose 30 pounds in 6 months, that's essentially 5 pounds a month. Okay. You're shooting for that goal. It's a smaller, more achievable goal. When instead of looking at that big 30, you're looking at that 5 pounds, right? 5 pounds doesn't seem as big as 30, right? And then you can break that down even further, right? There's roughly about 4 weeks in a month. That's essentially 1 to 2 pounds per week that you can lose for. And that could be your goal, right? Shooting for 1 to 2 pounds every single week, going to the gym, eating right. And that is your goal. By the end of the week, maybe every single Friday, you weigh yourself and your goal is to lose 1 to 2 pounds, right? Doesn't that seem more achievable than looking at that big 30-pound goal, right? That is the idea, guys, is breaking down those big, overwhelming goals into those more manageable and achievable checkpoints, right? We want to understand that if we can break that down, we want to look at something that, may be challenging, yes, but it's still an achievable goal that's going to motivate us to say, hey, I can do that. I'm going to go after it, right? Same thing when it comes to your finances. Maybe you're trying to save for a down payment on a house, right? Let's say you need $10,000 for the house that you want, right? If you're looking at this and say, hey, I need $10,000 by the end of the year, right? Well, let's say, again, just one full year for, clean example, you need $10,000 in one full year. How can you break that down to smaller goals, right? Let's just say that's roughly around $1,000 per month, right? If you save $1,000 per month, you're going to have that goal by the end of the year, right? And that's the idea. So you understand that if I'm saving $1,000, that's a little bit more manageable, right? $1,000 a month is essentially, again, around $250 a week. How can I start to budget myself, right? Understanding that I have my income, maybe I need a side hustle, all this kind of stuff, but I'm able to now look at that smaller 250. How can I manage that to save that every single week? How can I manage to save 1,000 every single month, right? And over time, that's going to add up to my big term goal, right? But we're looking at these smaller goals as they're more achievable. They are more manageable. And that's going to help us, stop looking at this overwhelming number, right? Understand that we're looking at a smaller, more achievable number that's going to help us, say that I can do that, right? I can achieve this. I'm going to go after it now, right? And there's actually been research by the American Psychological Association, right? APA, that they've actually, proven that breaking these tasks down into smaller, more manageable steps actually increases not only the success rate of us actually achieving those, but the motivation to say, hey, I actually can do that. I want to do that, because now we're understanding that this is something that's a little bit smaller that I know that I can achieve. Yes, it still may be challenging, but I understand that it's a smaller goal. That's something that I can do, right? So there's been research on it, guys. And again, just by breaking down your goals into smaller steps, it seems less overwhelming and allows you to go after it a little bit better. Okay, so that is tip number 1, guys. Again, breaking your big goals into more small, manageable steps or checkpoints. Okay. Tip number 2, guys, set clear deadlines, right? Setting clear deadlines can help you stop procrastinating, making sure that you have a point where you know you need to get something done and stay committed to that, right? And so, it's very easy for us when we're talking to ourselves, when we're setting deadlines for ourselves to kind of push that back still, right? Where we're like, hey, I wanted to achieve this by Friday, but it's okay if I push it to next Friday, right? We do that, right? That's something that we all do. We're all guilty of it. But think about it when you were in school, right? When you were in high school, middle school, whatever, and you had homework due or a big project due, right? Maybe you had a couple days or even a couple weeks to work on this project. And again, we're all guilty of this. What did we do? I'll start it tomorrow, right? I'll start it on the weekend, right? I'll do it, next week. And what did we do? We kept pushing it off until, hey, that this project, this homework is due tomorrow, right? And so now what do? We feel that sense of urgency of like, hey, I got to get this done. There's no more tomorrow anymore, right? I have to get it done tonight. I'm going to put whatever I can together to make it nice so I can get a good grade and be able to still pass the class, right? That's the idea, right? And so when it comes to school, right, that deadline is set, right? It's set for everybody in the school. Obviously it's not likely that's going to get changed, right? So it's the same thing when it comes to our goals is we need to be strict about that deadline as well, right? We got to treat it like that school deadline, right? When that homework's due, right? Same thing for us when we want to achieve our goals, whether it's, losing weight, gaining muscle, right? Or it's, making a certain income goal. We got to say that, hey, this deadline is a deadline. We have to set that to where it's going to give us that sense of urgency again, right? We're going to stay committed and say, hey, this deadline is coming up. I got to be able to hit my goal, right? Again, let's say we're trying to lose weight. Well, in every single week, I ought to lose 1 to 2 pounds. Hey, I skipped yesterday going to the gym because I had something come up. I can't skip today because Friday I have to weigh myself again. If I'm not at that 1 to 2 pound loss mark, right, I'm going to be behind, right? And that's where we got to set that, that deadline and that sense of urgency to motivate ourselves to say, you know what? Maybe I missed one day, right? But I'm not going to build a habit of that. I'm going to continue to get back in the gym, right? Same thing, maybe I missed a week of saving this money because I had an emergency come up. Well, now I got to get back into it and I got to figure out how can I make up for that, right? And it's giving us, again, that sense of urgency because we have that deadline coming up and we understand that when we're staying committed to that deadline, it's going to allow us to, again, be more motivated and less likely to procrastinate, right? So that's the idea when it comes to setting those clear deadlines, guys. And there's actually been studies by MIT that people are more likely to complete those tasks when they have a deadline, and not only a deadline, but when they have smaller tasks, right, that they kind of broken that big task into and more individual deadlines for each task, right? So just like we talked about, tip number 1 is break down our big goals into smaller goals. Tip number 2 is set deadlines, right? So if we break down those bigger goals into deadlines, again, just like the losing weight, 30 pounds in 6 months is 5 pounds every single month. Well, in exactly 1 month, I need to lose 5 pounds, right? And by setting that specific deadline and that more manageable goal, it increases not only the likelihood of us achieving that, but the motivation to actually go get it done. Right. So once again, guys, that is step number 2, setting clear deadlines. Okay. And now, last but not least, tip number 3, guys, is eliminating distractions and setting a focused environment. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, guys, when we're, working on something, again, let's say you're trying to build an online business and you're here at your computer, right? Maybe you have your phone on your desk and your phone's on ring, right? And someone texts you a funny GIF or sends you a link to an Instagram or a TikTok post, whatever it may be. You hear that notification go off. What do you like to do? You're going to come, you're going to check it, and you're going to say, hey, hey, this is funny, this is cool, whatever it may be. You're going to respond. And then what happens? You may go down the rabbit hole and start scrolling, right? And you're scrolling on Instagram Reels, you're looking at these TikToks, you're responding to all your emails, right? And before you know it, 30 to 45 minutes have gone by and you're like, hey, I completely got distracted. I don't have time to do this, whatever I was going to do for my business, right? Stuff like that is, essentially procrastinating because now we're doing something like, looking at Instagram Reels, all this kind of stuff that's bringing more of an immediate gratification versus something that we need to get done to build our business, right? It's going to be better for the long run, right? So by understanding that you have those distractions, maybe you have that, maybe you have notifications on your computer, right? Maybe you have, some video games nearby and you kind of see it and you're like, well, I'm gonna take a break and go play that game, right? Whatever it may be, guys, all of this kind of stuff is essentially those distractions that are keeping you from achieving your goals, right? So maybe you put your phone on silent. Maybe you put it in another room, right? Maybe you take all the stuff out of your office, out of your space of where you're trying to work, you're trying to get done, right? And you just completely remove everything that can be a distraction, right? When you go to the gym, right? This is kind of an easy one. If you go at the gym and you have people around you who maybe want to talk to you, what do? You put on headphones, right? You put on headphones, you put on your favorite music, your favorite podcast, whatever it may be, and you're listening to something that's completely tuning out everything else. And you're focused, you, right, in the gym, working on, whatever you're lifting at the time, right? And you're focusing on getting the workout done without being bothered by other people, right? Same thing when you're at, you're working, right? You're working on your business, you're trying to, work on your side hustle, whatever it may be. Put on some headphones, right? Put on some noise canceling headphones or whatever you got to be able to play some music, turn off all distractions, put your dogs outside, have someone watch your kids, whatever it may be, right? Do something to where you're able to eliminate all distractions for at least a small period of time to be able to get some stuff done, and then take a break, go enjoy your life, right? Obviously, you just don't want to enjoy the things in life, right? But that's the idea is, right? Get rid of distractions, whether it's TV, whether it's video games, whether it's, notifications on your phone, get rid of that and set a focused environment. Put on something that's going to help you stay focused to get your goals done, for that period of time, right? And there was actually a study done in 1984. It was published in the Journal of Environmental Psychology, right? And essentially, guys, they found that more people are more productive in environments with fewer distractions and less clutter, right? So if you go to your desk too, right, or you go anywhere and the place is a mess, right? Maybe you have papers everywhere, sticky notes. I'm guilty of this. I have sticky notes all over my desk sometimes, right? Stuff like that, right? If you have all this stuff on your desk, it may seem, again, that overwhelming feeling where you just have so much stuff and it's just kind of distracting you from simply getting on, right? And I don't know about you guys, but I've done this before where I'm focused, I'm trying to get something done. And then all of a sudden I see, again, maybe a bunch of sticky notes or a bunch of papers, and I start going through them and I start just like randomly cleaning, right? I don't know if you guys have ever done that, right? But that's kind of this something that distracts you from what you were trying to get done simply because your space was not clean, right? Simply because you had stuff that were in essentially your line of vision that kind of took you away from getting something done, right? So little things like that, just kind of, clean up your space, make sure you're in a nice, clean work environment, no distractions, can help you stop procrastinating and get stuff done, get what you need to get done by simply having the only thing that you need to get done in your eyesight, right? That's right there. There's no distractions. It's the only thing that you can do in the moment because it's the only thing right there, right? That's the idea, is get rid of all those distractions and focus on what you need to get done. So with that being said, guys, that is what I have for you guys here today. 3 tips to help you avoid procrastinating. One more time, guys, it's simply break down your goals into smaller goals, right? Then step number 2 is set deadlines and, be very committed to those. And tip number 3, eliminate distractions and set a focused environment. Stay focused on the task at hand and help you guys achieve your goals in the long run. Okay, so once again, guys, 3 tips to help you avoid procrastination. Hopefully this episode helped you guys kind of learn a little bit, how to, again, avoid distractions, avoid that procrastinating, and help you guys stay disciplined to get things done that you need to get done. And with that being said, I'm going to leave you guys as I always do. Success isn't just about the money you make or the muscles you build. It's also about the mindset you develop along the way. Thank you guys again for watching, and I'll see you on the next episode of Money Muscle Mindset.